going good. Yeah, for those of you who are popping in, Callie, welcome. For those of you who are popping in, oh, thanks for the follow, Ivy. By we, I mean me and a group of people, we started a container for this eclipse portal, and it's just been really sweet. I did talk about it a little bit, Tasia, but again, like just reiterating how nice it is to have like people while we move through this individual metamorphosis, but it's also a collective metamorphosis. We'll set notifications. Aw, thank you. Heck yeah. Yeah, sign up to my newsletter too. If you guys can't stay for the full time, I re-upload this live stream to YouTube after this, so you guys will be able to touch into it afterwards. And then additionally, I write a whole newsletter. So I'm touching on everybody's learning styles, because I know not everybody is auditorial processors. So reading things is more beneficial. So I will be writing that all out, and that email hits your inbox on Mondays. So in your Discord, yeah. And yeah. Yes, I do have a Discord community as well. Okay, let's go ahead and share my screen so we can see the astrology. So again, I like to share my screen because I want to teach you guys. I want you guys to learn and to understand where I'm grabbing this stuff from. Okay, did that? Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Oh, okay. My sleep schedule has been not the best. Anybody else struggling? Newsletters peak. Sign up. Thank you. So just a heads up, if you have signed up to it, it comes out every Monday. So if you're not seeing it in your inbox, you need to check your spam or promotions. And or yeah, I've been getting a lot of people who are reaching, like, my email lands in people's spam. So you have to like reply to my initial email to make sure that it doesn't land in spam. It's the perks of running a business. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump to the 25th, because this is this is what we're going to be talking about. So we'll see. This is like super late at night, actually. It's probably all the way into like early morning the 26th. Yeah. So let's actually go back here and let's go to, nope, it's okay. And life is life, and you will do life. Oh, not AM, I meant PM. Okay. Even another. This is so Mercury retrograde coded already, because I'm ruled by Mercury. Okay, so there we go. Mercury literally goes retrograde like at 11 p.m. on the 25th. So we can tell that Mercury is retrograde in the platform that I'm using here specifically, because the text turns red. Okay. Yeah, waking up has been icky. Yeah. And for anybody who's feeling this eclipse stuff, I did post a video here on my TikTok about some of these things that are coming up. Bye, Julia. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. And Margot, thank you for sharing the live. Liking the live and sharing it is the best way that my content can get out to other people who might enjoy it. So thank you. Okay. Mercury retrograde, right? This is a conversation that happens pretty often within astrology, because Mercury goes retrograde 3 times a year. By the way, if you didn't know that, it's 3 times a year. Thanks for sharing the live, Tasia. The Mercury retrogrades that we're having this year specifically are all going to be in water signs. Emotions. Cool. So this Mercury stationed retrograde, I'm like, me ruled by Mercury, how to talk about Mercury retrograde. I feel like I'm the poster child for a Mercury retrograde of my stuttering and stumbling. But I want to talk about the phases that Mercury goes through, because it's a whole process. And the best way to talk about any retrograde is to understand the pathway that it takes. And I was going to pull up my visual from my Mercury retrograde class, but if you guys are interested in actually like learning about retrogrades, check that out. Retrogrades kind of do this little loop-de-loop pathway. And so what happens is, the planet goes forward. It's like when you're hiking on a trail. This is the best way to describe a retrograde cycle. It's like you're climbing up a mountain, but then you forgot something. So you have to double back down the hill. And the thing is, the perspective changes and you're able to see a different perspective, but you're going downhill. And it's not where you want to be. You want to be at the top of the hill, but you have to gather different information and different perspective as you're walking back. And then you'll go back up the hill again with whatever you've gathered. Does that make sense, you guys? Just checking in. I try to frame things in ways that like will kind of land for people as far as articulating these transits I'm talking about. Thanks for the follow, Soto. Appreciate it. Because this one's interesting. Because we're in the middle of an eclipse portal, it's almost as though this is something I've been speaking about. I feel like I've been speaking about it, but I wouldn't be surprised if these words haven't actually left my mouth, because there's a lot of mental processing going on just since eclipse season started. So this retrograde cycle is having us really not focus on the outcome yet. And that's kind of a weird space to be in. So Mercury being in Pisces, let's talk about that layer first. Pisces is a water sign. It's the last water sign. It is it is super tender and sensitive to the collective consciousness, but not just the consciousness, but the emotional terrain of the collective consciousness. It is deeply interwoven with that. So again, a lot of these heightened feelings that we're all feeling, it feels very akin to what a lot of people are feeling. It's like being plugged into everything. So this, like, how to talk about Mercury in Pisces, because that's the thing about Pisces, and this is something I speak to pretty frequently with Pisces energy, is how do you articulate a sign that has no word or meaning that can be conceptualized by the human mind? Thanks for the follow, Sonia. That is the interesting thing about Pisces, because it's the last sign. It's sort of that edge before death. It's sort of, I like to think about like an old man or woman in their rocking chair sitting on a porch, and they just have that sort of air of wisdom to them. That is Pisces energy. So Mercury in Pisces moving retrograde, it's sort of allowing us to dive deeper into our inner world, which it already feels like we're jumping into that terrain presently, again, because I feel like I'm going to repeat myself over and over again, because we're in the middle of an eclipse fucking portal right now. We're in the middle of like the freaking, we're the goo in the cocoon of the butterfly. Like we are the caterpillar goo in the cocoon. There's nothing you can do right now. So if anybody's like, I have a project, I have an idea, I have a thing that needs to take form, it's not time. Just sit with it. Just witness. Just be. Just observe. And I know that can be really, really frustrating for some people, but that is what is needed right now, is to like feel your feelings and let them move so you can process mentally later, right? Because when Mercury's in Pisces, mental processing is like non-existent. It's very emotional. Okay, so Mercury is going to be retrograde until March 20th. Thanks for the follow, Sunshine. So March 20th. So from February 26th to March 20th, Mercury is going to be backing his ass backwards and is going to be going from this 22-degree point all the way, let's draw here, to the 8-degree point. Which is technically like kind of where the sun is. So think about, I'm like, how do I articulate this? We are going to be touching on all of these different parts and pieces, like Venus, the North Node, the Sun, and of course these planets and mathematical equations and different pieces and parts. The Sun is not a planet; it's a luminary. We'll be moving forward, and so this Mercury is going to touch on all of these points that we've been feeling, that have been coming up in conversation or lived experience, and having us see it from a different perspective. Again, to reiterate, love you, Tasia. Thanks for stopping in. To reiterate the sort of climbing up the mountain, Mercury going from 8 degrees to 22 degrees, climbing up the mountain. Oh shit, I forgot something. And it's just a different perspective, which means you're going to have to turn your ass back around and walk backwards. Our mind is having to reconfigure. And in Pisces, it is like emotional. It's like, again, all I can see is like the transmutation and the alchemy of a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. Like that process is so insane. It literally decomposes and becomes something new. And that's like what your mind is doing. I'm hearing like NDAs, but you guys aren't going to have an NDA. I'm just comparing things of like, it's kind of like, I heard like soul retrieval also too, where it's like going back to like get a part of yourself that you've left behind in something. And so like going back and then moving forward again to touch on all these points again. But the retrograde period is for us to go inwards, is for us to look at where we've been maybe looking too far outside of us at the collective energy and focusing back on ourselves and how the collective impacts our personal sense of identity and how maybe we've been taking on too much mental strain from people around us. Love that. Grow those wings. Yes, exactly. Rondalyn. Callie, you asked a good question. I didn't read it because I knew I would have gotten sidetracked. Wait, what about body stuff? New routines, practices, tracking, etc. Not necessarily a brand new project. I would say that's fine. When I'm saying starting things, it's like, this is intuitive based things. The thing, you will know when you are pushing, you're trying to push yourself out of the caterpillar cocoon. It's more of a creative thing. I feel body-based stuff is a part of that like malting process. So going on walks, shifting your routine, because that's the alchemy. That's the physical alchemy that's going to be really healthy and helpful. Yeah, I have also been like shifting routines as well, shifting like connecting those things. So yeah, when more physical stuff is coming up, I feel this is more like a personal feeling versus astrology. It's going to help that because again, Mercury's the mind. I'm thinking more bigger creative projects, or depending on where Pisces is in your chart. And that's where it gets into the like nitty gritty of where Pisces lands in your chart, the kind of stuff you're going to be reviewing. But also the eclipse portal is not a time for manifestation. It is not a time for big rituals because this is just a witnessing field, because the whatever happens in these 2 weeks, this is just eclipse energy, just to understand eclipse energy, whatever's happening in this 2-week period, this energy is going to play out in a 1.5-year story. We're closing a cycle from the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo cycle. That's going to be ending in a couple of months when the nodes switch signs, and then we'll have a final eclipse in Pisces. Right? Yeah, we'll have a partial lunar eclipse in Pisces on August 27th, which will close this chapter. And so what's happening with this eclipse portal is like from now until August, we're going to be in a weird like limbo where some things are ending and some things are starting. So that's where it's kind of like, you don't need to jump the gun on anything. This is kind of like an energetic precursor to the bigger themes that are going to be rippling out. That was an awesome question. Tan, first house Mercury in Scorpio. What's going on? Let's go. I love my water Mercuries. I love my water house. I love all Mercuries because I'm ruled by Mercury. Hermes gang on top. Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting because, and this is also a bigger conversational topic that I've talked about in previous live streams, and I feel like I have a couple new faces here in the live stream, so I'm going to kind of reiterate this. All the outer planets, so Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, and even we'll pull Jupiter in a little bit, they're all moving into new signs. Thanks for the follow, Tan. And so it's kind of this weird switch of the guard where the old, what I've been calling like the old gods. So that was Uranus and Taurus, which Uranus is still in Taurus now. Neptune and Saturn are in Aries finally. So it's kind of like there's this weird overlap. It's not going to be until 2027 that this energy is finally moving forward. And I know, and this is just a personal perspective. Thanks for the follow. There's been a lot of hype about this whole fire horse energy. And I feel like people who have hopped on that train are going to get a little burnt out because they're pushing their energy a little too hard, because this Lunar New Year started with a solar eclipse, guys. And so it's like everybody kind of hit the ground running, and there's like, what placements gives you pregnancy? Sleeping with somebody. Sleeping with somebody while you're ovulating. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully, I hope I helped you with that. Sorry, guys. I'm being so cheeky. My tolerance for silly questions. And it's not a silly question, but the snake crushed me. I'm ready for that horse. Yeah, so it's gonna take some time for that energy to kind of like saddle. Get it? Lol, like saddle the horse. So it's gonna take a little bit of time. Wait. How did I I'm just really funny. Because I teach teenagers, guys, by the way. There's a lot of new faces in here. Hello, welcome. We're talking about the astrological forecast. You have PCOS and it's hard to get pregnant. Astrology is not going to beat your like connecting to your body. I'm not a health practitioner. I can't give health advice. So I would say work with a holistic practitioner and or doctor or doula that specializes in helping women with PCOS. Yeah. Anyways. Okay, so let's go ahead, and we're talking about the astrological forecast for the week ahead for those of you who are popping in. So we're going to be talking about that. We're not going to be, I will leave room for questions at the end. Okay, let's go ahead. So I'm like, what else about Mercury retrograde should we be prepared for? Just the surface level pop astrology stuff. Technology is going to be fucking weird. I feel like this is going to be a little bit different because it's in Pisces and it's a water sign. Maybe more spirit activation with technology. So things turning off and on, kind of what you would maybe think is like spookier energy. It's not spooky. It's just weird technology stuff and the channel shifting. People's modalities of channeling spirit changing as well. Like that would be very Mercury retrograde coded as well. But again, Mercury is going to be retrograde until March 20th, and then we'll have the post shadow. The post shadow ends April 9th. So from, I'm looking at my dates that I have written over here, from March 20th to April 9th, Mercury will take that path from 8 degrees of Pisces and walk his ass back forward to 22. And that's the integration cycle. That is the integration cycle. So right now, we're kind of just getting a lot of precursors to integration that is coming after the eclipse portal. That's why I've been really pressing just chill, just witness, journal, drink water, rest, take care of your body, do what you can to just be present and create structures that feel supportive. What this eclipse portal that we're in presently feels like is like preparing for birth. Like you're at your third trimester It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. It doesn't matter. Like, you are at this point of like something coming through. And so you need to like nest and take care of yourself and like rest and sleep and just slow down. Like, for me personally, my whole calendar's blocked off for this eclipse portal. I have just a couple things that are like planned in my regular stuff I do to keep up with my business, but I'm not meeting with any live clients during this time because I'm also holding a 2-week container with this time. So really honoring the energy of this time. So let's move forward to the next day. Welcome, guys. Thank you guys again for liking and sharing the live. It gets my content out to people who might enjoy it. You feel like we've been saying this for months. Yeah, because that is the energy. That's the energy. It's the switch of the guard. And so some parts of you are going to feel ready to like go, and some parts of you are still wrapping things up. And so that's not to say that like if you got a new job offer that's going to be the best thing for you. You could go for it. Again, discernment for what works for you. It ultimately is about building a deeper level of inner authority, especially with Saturn and Neptune. Yeah. We hit the ground running after, like, the eclipse portal is the only time that I'm really like, don't do anything crazy. Don't do big spells. Don't do big business launches. So unless you're really open to doing a lot of like shadow work and alchemy during that. I feel like the taxi I'm in is going a little too fast. It's only okay, interesting. Okay, so on the 26th, the North Node is conjunct the Sun. This is very, very interesting energy, guys. So the North Node, again, is the sort of theme that we've been exploring for the last year and a half. This has been letting go and letting God, which for a lot of us is really uncomfortable. We've had to confront the South Node in Virgo, which has been this whole arc of letting go of perfectionism, letting go of the rigid mental routines that have kept us stuck in fear loops. Energetically, I was like, that's so interesting. Maybe you just tell them to slow down. I should have figured that, but yeah. So with the Sun conjunct the North Node, this is our ego identity. If you wish you had a routine, just do it. Just to make a routine. Don't let your dreams be dreams. It takes time. Only try one thing and apply one thing for a week and give it a go, and until it becomes a habit. The Sun is our egoic identity, and when it's conjunct the North Node, this is literally like there's going to be this is a pretty auspicious day, the 26th, and I was nerding out about this because in my Discord server I was like, Bridgerton is releasing this season 4 part 2 on the 26th. Like, what in the, like, they must have an astrologer on their team, because like that is epic marketing. I don't think you would, again, I'm not a doctor, and from my personal experience is if you need to find routines that work for you and how you operate, which might look different than what my routines look like or somebody else's routines look like. You have to build what works for you, which might be very different and very flexible. Just moved 6 states away to further my career. It's been a rough mental. Yeah, dude. Congrats though. Like, genuinely, congratulations. Like, that's super cool, but it's definitely, yeah, new scene, new pace, new things. They do. I was just thinking that, yeah, I know. I was like, they definitely have an astrologer. I'm like, this like fucking release, like right before Pisces season, when we're all like hopelessly romantic. Genius. Like, genius marketing. I would love to be to do like help with like astrology marketing. Random sidebar, in a previous career of mine, they were launching this app and I was like, man, they should just wait a week. They should just wait a week for when Pluto's in Aquarius, because it's actually going to shift the whole trajectory of the company. I didn't say it. And they're still like very Pluto and Capricorn slow build. It's not really like hitting that like curve that Pluto and Aquarius is. I know. Oh, I've marketed myself, Callie. I have, but people are scared. It's okay. My path is defined. And it's too divinate for all of you. Okay, back to your regularly programmed schedule. Show. North Node conjunct Sun. Ego identity. North Node. Karmic destiny. Big things. Big things. Big things. Big things. Deeply personal. For you guys, this could be just a trickle of a revelation of like all the work that you've been putting in for the last year and a half finally making sense. This could be a insight that comes in that clicks something in place. With this all being in Pisces, it's kind of the like culmination of like, I see just like the ego finally like surrendering, right? This is the sun, our ego identity, just softening into this Piscean energy. It's like, I don't have to control the outcome. I don't have to control how things move. I don't have to control how things go. I can just be. I can just be. Okay. And this feels really good. And I think the buildup of the sun getting closer to this north node is really making the south node in Virgo quiver in its boots. Cause it's just like all the past routines or all the things that have like, it's, again, there's this the imagery that's coming to mind. This will make sense to gamers. Is like when you're building in Minecraft and you're doing like the like scuff building where you're like placing a block down like as you creep forward. But imagine like you place the block down and you move forward and the one behind you disappears. That's kind of the energy that's happening right now. And I think that really is testing this South Node in Virgo of like, you don't need to go back. You don't need to go back to what was. You don't need to go back to the old fears, the old stories, the old programming. It's just like continue forward. And I feel like the sun conjunct the north node is really going to be that sort of moment of like, this makes sense. Thanks for the follow, Sarah. Yeah, it's very beautiful. You know, us astrologers, we be knowing things. It's like, it's pattern. We be knowing. Yeah, it's very interesting stuff. And, you know, my ability to articulate the transits and what's happening here has changed drastically as my skills of channeling have increased. And so it's a mix of the two for sure. And this is sort of just that energetic signature. It's really hard to not want to run back to the fear stories. And don't get me wrong, some people will. And another interesting thing that I noticed as well is that this conjunction is squaring Lilith and Sagittarius. So there is also this sort of edge of like, it's challenging this, my throat. That feels very ominous, that my throat chakra just kind of closed up there. Lilith and Sagittarius is very this like, I want to be free at any cost kind of energy. And so this is sort of an archetype within us that is like not wanting to commit to anything or to even move forward and just kind of wants to run the other way. And so it's kind of like having to temper that part of you. Catch a falling star. Okay, let's look at the 27th. So on the 27th, we have Mars and Uranus are doing that infamous square. So for those of you who are joining me for the first time, again, I go live every Sunday to talk about the astrological transit for the week ahead. And we've had stelliums within Capricorn, within Aquarius, and now they're all shifting slowly into Pisces. Mars is the last planet to move into Pisces. And so Mars is now squaring Uranus, and it's been this sort of like battle with worth. So this is kind of like the final energetic push, because Mars is our will, our drive, our action. Again, this is going to be Friday the 27th. This is our will, our drive, our like ability to push ourselves. Now meeting with Uranus and Taurus, which has been the story that's been really asking us to like define our worth. What's your value? What do you value? How do you show that? How do you value that? Those kinds of things. So Mars in Aquarius is really this sort of collective. There's going to be more action around the energy in this department. And this has been building because the sun moved through this, Mercury moved through this, Venus moved through this. And now Mars moving through this square is like the action now being taken on this. And the action is been really revolving around your community, your connections, even like the internet. Aquarius is, I relate it to the internet as well. And it's like really pushing those sort of, it's a very interesting thing to sit with, because Uranus and Taurus is saying like, what do you value? Right. And then Mars and Aquarius is like, can you take action on the collective community around you? Can you take action on these higher visions that you're having, the higher mind, right? And with Mercury retrograde, it's kind of wonky. So I feel like there's going to be tension in friend groups, tension in community, tension in like what value system you want to instill going forward within friends, within collective spaces. That could be like work. I'm thinking, what's that word? Networking, right? So like being really aware of that. And all squares do is they're 90-degree angles and they bring up tension. And I always say this with every live stream, thanks for the follow, Carla, is like they create tension, and like tectonic plates, something happens. So there's going to be movement. There's going to be something that kind of erupts from this square that's going to test us and push us into confronting maybe where we've been lacking values, where we've been lacking taking action within collective spaces upon our values. It's something within that nature. Okay. Whew. How are we all feeling? One more transit to talk about, and then we'll open the floor for questions. Okay. Now I have that song stuck in my head. Catch a falling star. Okay. So also on this date, I find it really interesting because Venus and Mercury are conjunct. So it's strange. Hear me out. It's strange because it's like Venus and Mercury did a pass. Like Mercury literally stopped in his tracks to station retrograde. And then Venus like caught up like again with this imagery of like hiking up a hill. Like Mercury got to a point and it's like Venus was right behind him and he stopped to turn around to begin his march backwards down the hill to gain a new perspective. And she's like, it's like a weird like passing by, like, what, are you good? Do you need anything? So it's going to be like an emotional check-in within what's coming up in your mind space, what's coming up in the beginning of this reflection process that Mercury retrograde always invites us into. So Venus and Pisces, guys. Venus and Pisces. Little lovers. So much love that's happening, and like a lot of fantasy oriented perspective, rose colored glasses. Hopefully those rose colored glasses are a little bit more discerning, because we've had Saturn and Pisces the last 2.5 years really kicking our ass to take them off. Okay. There's this sort of pause, and my Venus is in Pisces. I don't think you can just base somebody off their Pisces placement. I think that's just human nature. I'm very loving. So, yeah, I was like, I'm very nice. I'm totally yanking your chain. You're good. But Venus in Pisces tends to be very like delusional when it comes to love, but that's because they see beyond what most people see, and they see people at their truest form. And so there's sort of this, I heard like a cause for concern, because Venus meets Mercury as Mercury's moving retrograde, and it's sort of like this, like kind of like I'm like hearing like a gas, like a are you okay kind of energy. And it's sort of going to be like just to check in on your emotional state. How are things going? Like it's going to be sort of like a meeting of the like mind and heart as and what I see Venus doing. And I keep seeing Nurse Joy from Pokemon. Like it kind of feels like she's like helping the like your Pokemon need health, and she's gonna heal them. She's got like a little like to go healing box. I don't know if that's actually a thing. I'm not a big Pokemon player, but like her being able to like heal Mercury before Mercury goes retro, like begins his descent down into this retrograde field. It's sort of like this meeting of like heart space with mind, and like kind of like giving them a pep talk, like you got this, right? So that can be like an emotional sort of pep talk, you with you. It could be even you with the people around you, with people that are in your close circle, lovers, friends, family. And it feels really tender. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, friends. Yeah. When Mercury and Venus meet together, it's very symbiotic. It's very like, heart and mind alignment. And with Mercury retrograde, communication can feel a little stifled. So it's less of like, can I say this? Or it's more of like just letting yourself feel the appreciation for the love in your life is kind of the feeling. Like you don't have to do this sort of like reciprocal, like, you know, when people will like compliment your outfit or like compliment something about you and we immediately jump into, I need to say something nice back. This is the difference in energy of just saying thank you. Just say thank you. Okay. All right, friends. Woo! Woo-wee mama, what a live stream. What a live stream. Okay, so again, a recap for the week ahead. On Wednesday, Mercury stations retrograde and is going to be retrograde all the way until March 20th. And then we'll be in his post shadow until April 9th. Now on Thursday, the sun is going to be conjunct the North Node, but also squaring Lilith. And then on Friday, the 27th, Mars squares Uranus, and then Mercury and Venus are conjunct. Okay. Love nerd.